Hi, I'm Dr. Mintu, GBT Specialist with EMS. We are always here for you for the safe and optimal use of your EMS Airflow device. However, in those times where you do need a troubleshoot, that's what this video is for. Let's start with the airflow. So if there's insufficient air or the powder doesn't seem to be flowing properly inside the powder chamber, the first thing you're going to do is try it without the handpiece. So remove your handpiece and press on the foot pedal. If it does work, this means that there is a clog inside your airflow handpiece. After every use, it's important to flush out your airflow and periflow lumens. Do this by filling up a monojack syringe with water, placing it into the larger end of your EMS Easy Clean, placing the skinny end into your handpiece. Then push hard through with water 2 or 3 times and then follow this with air. If your airflow or periflow handpiece gets clogged, what you can do is soak it in warm water for 20 minutes and follow this by using the Easy Clean and a monojack syringe. The next thing to check is your powder chamber. Release the powder chamber. Taking a clean finger, place this over the whole of your powder chamber and give it a really good shake to loosen up any powder. Then give it another go. If it doesn't work, that's when you need to remove the cap, empty all of the powder, and then blow compressed air into the chamber. If this still doesn't work and you go to pressurize your chamber and you see powder releasing from the cap or the chamber lighting up and blinking a white color, you might have a problem in your cord. In the case that you need to remove and put the cords back, for example, if the number 3 is blinking orange, I'm going to show you how to remove the cords. The first step is to depressurize the machine by pushing the depressurize button. After this, turn off your device. On each side, on the piezon side and on the airflow side, there is a lever underneath the machine. Pull this towards you and pull out the module. To place the module back in, line up the 2 dots here with the dot on the machine. Push hard. If there's too much powder or it's quite messy, the first thing you need to check is that there's adequate water. Do this by making the power 0, water on 10, pick up your airflow handpiece and step on the foot pedal. If the water dial is on 10 and the water is still only dribbling out, that's when you need to check your water source and also the water filters. You can do this by checking underneath the machine. If the water filter and the water source is fine, that's when it's time to contact your service technician. Another cause for it to be quite messy is if the incorrect powder is in the incorrect powder chamber. Make sure your plus powder is in your plus powder chamber and that your classic powder is in your classic powder chamber. Something else to check is that the plus powder cap is on the plus powder chamber and same for the classic powder chamber. It's also important to make sure that the little O-ring on top of the cap is in place. Make sure never to use non-EMS powders because this can damage your device and its components. Using non-EMS products will void your warranty. In the case that the water is cold, there are 3 things you need to check. First of all, check that the water dial is up to 10 on both sides. If the water doesn't seem to be warm enough, make sure that you set the temperature on 40 degrees. To change the water temperature settings, press 0 and 10 simultaneously. This menu will come up. For water temperature at 0, it is not heated, 25 degrees on 1, 30 degrees on 2, 35 degrees on 3, and 40 degrees on 4. Numbers 6 to 10 control the sound settings, with 10 being the loudest and 6 being none. To lock in your temperature and sound settings, press the power button. The third thing to check is your water filter. When you check the water filter, it's also important to check the water stream. Do this by making the power 0, water on 10, pick up your airflow handpiece and step on the foot pedal. If the water filter and the water source is fine, that's when it's time to contact your service technician. If when you go to pressurize your chamber, instead of going a solid white and it blinks, please check your air compressor and also your airline connection. If these are fine, then do the following steps. If there's moisture that is inside your powder chamber, one way to check this is by taking out the chamber and pressing the pressurise button with a tissue over the air hole. If there is moisture contamination, it's time to contact your service technician. When you wipe your machine, we recommend using neutral detergent wipes. Make sure never to wipe over the pressurising hole because you will drive moisture into the powder chamber. If your powder chamber is not depressurising, there could be a problem inside the handpiece. Remove the handpiece and try to depressurise. If it depressurises, that means that your handpiece is clogged. Also make sure to depressurise your chamber every time before turning off your device. If you don't depressurise the powder chamber each time before turning off your device, sometimes the powder cap can get stuck. Okay, let's talk about the P-zone now. If there is little or no movement in the PS instrument or tip, there are a few things to check. First of all, remove the instrument and check the length of the instrument. With normal wear and tear, this will decrease. The next thing to check is, after removing the instrument, check the threads to see if there is any wear. The last thing to check is the connection between the P-zone handpiece and the module. It's important only to use EMS branded products because if you don't, this can damage the threads inside your EMS P-zone handpiece. This is important not only on the Airflow Prophylaxis Master, but also on tabletop units and units in your chair as well. The Airflow Prophylaxis Master and Airflow One use Bluetooth to pair their foot control. If the foot control isn't working, it could be one of 3 possible reasons. If the battery is flat, remove the battery and replace it. Here's how you pair the foot control. First of all, remove the back cover of the foot pedal. Then remove one battery. Once you have removed one battery, press numbers 0, 5 and 10 simultaneously. When the pairing sound begins, replace the battery, put the back cover back on and press once. Make sure to always use lithium AA batteries. The foot control will only work with straight line access of about this angle from the machine. If you notice that water is dripping from your Airflow handpiece or from your P-zone handpiece, you can replace O-rings inside them. Your Airflow handpiece kit comes with 3 spare O-rings. Remove the handpiece and have a look at the O-rings for wear and tear. You can easily change them with an Explorer or a probe. In the case that your bottles are leaking water or night cleaner, it's important to check the O-ring in place on top of the cap. You can order more caps from your local sales representative. It's also important to note that there is an expiry date on all of the bottles. If you notice water leaking from behind the machine or underneath the machine, it's time to check your air and water lines. Make sure you haven't plugged your water line into your air port. If you have, immediately turn off your machine and contact your service technician. If you hear whistling from your machine and it's early in the morning, that's okay, because it's reaching the adequate pressure. If you hear it randomly during the day or quite frequently, please turn off your device and contact your service technician. If any of the orange LED lights come up, it's important to look at your instructions for use. For all troubleshooting and support, visit our troubleshooting tool at emsdent.com/troubleshooting. Select the corresponding icon and it will take you on a step-by-step on how to find a possible solution. To place the PI instrument inside the P-zone handpiece, you will need the following: the P-zone handpiece, PI tip, 120-degree endo chuck, and metal wrench. To place the endo chuck inside the P-zone handpiece, gently screw it in with your fingers and then use the metal wrench to tighten. Place the PI instrument inside the endo chuck and then tighten with the metal wrench. To remove the PI instrument, follow the same steps. When reprocessing the P-zone LED handpieces, make sure to separate it into its 3 components: the handpiece, LED light guide, and metal nozzle cap. If you still can't identify or solve the problem, contact your service technician or local sales rep.